Two of them are dead. I graduated with 360 some students, and I found out just recently that two of them had already passed away. These things really make me ask questions. It makes me struggle, makes me wonder, what's going on. And recently I have just lost a friend who went to college with me, and it's really made me really look at life a little bit differently. And having almost lost my sister as well to a brain tumor, it also helps me look at life a little bit differently. And sometimes I think that we really lose sight of what matters in life. We really get obsessed with the things that really don't matter, the accolades, the things we can do, the degree I could probably possibly get, if I worked hard enough and do all those things. But really, life is just so short. And I spent the day with my sister yesterday in the hospital, and I really learned what it means to know God's grace, to really know what He desires of us. But over the past few months, the one lesson I've really been thinking about is, and the question I've been asking is, why does God do these things? Why does He allow these things to happen? And why does He, take such good people who are doing such great things for the Lord? And why He takes the people that you care about who are close to you? And those things really, the one thing that's really resounded for me is the fact that He does this for His glory. He does it to draw us close to Him. And I know that's why my sister went through what she went through. I didn't know that at first, because in the moment you don't really know until you look back and say, the Lord really delivered me through that. And I think about Job, and I think about what he went through and how it wasn't really even his fault. He just was living his life, and he honored God. It says that he was a godly man, and I think to myself, why did Job go through all of that? He went through far worse things than I went through, and far worse things than really anyone has gone through, losing your entire family and losing everything you ever owned in life, and still he would not turn his back on God. And I think about that testimony, and I think about, Job knew what it meant to suffer. Job's attitude is the biggest thing, though, and I know he asks questions. He's human, just like me. He asks questions, and in I think it's the 41st and 42nd chapters of Job, God answers his questions, and Job says, replies to God basically that I don't know anything, Lord. You're so much greater than me. You know everything, and there's purpose in everything. I don't think really Job knew why he went through what he went through, and I understand that a little bit better now that I've read those chapters. They've really helped me see Job in a different light. But the important thing for people to see is that God is still supreme, that He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't do things that we sometimes think are bad. I mean, there's nothing bad that He does. He does these things for a good end. And I know that the loss of a close brother in Christ and the loss of almost losing my sister taught me that, it's just, life's so short, and you don't get to do it again. And I'm 19 years old, and I've just learned that lesson, and I'm just learning about it. And there's a whole world out there for us to reach, a whole world out there of hurting people who are struggling with just life issues, struggling with family issues, struggling maybe with like suicide issues, and just troubles in life. Those things are common. And the one thing I would tell them, if you're struggling, would be, look to God, look to His grace, look to His all-sufficient power. And I know that's the Sunday school answer. Sunday school answers are always easy to send out. I've been in church since the day I was born, so I can sometimes get wrapped up in Sunday school answers, but I pretty much can't. I say those things, but I actually know they're true, because I've lived them, I've seen them, I've experienced them even when I didn't want to, and I've been in enough children's hospitals to know God is still great, and then to know He's still there. And I see that in my sister, whether she lived or died, I still wanted God to know that I wasn't angry at Him, and I didn't want to be angry at Him, because He saved me, and I knew He could save my sister, and He did. But you're gonna lose a lot of people along the way, but I really look forward to seeing those people in the next life. I look forward to seeing them and hopefully seeing other people who come to know Christ later on in their life.